It's Saturday morning and here's yet another impressionistic watercolor for you to paint along. So today we're going to shift the watercolor palette and use the Quinacridone pigments. The idea is to create a bright, vibrant painting that pulls you across the room. For this, I'm using Fabriano cold press paper, colors from Holbein and Daniel Smith. If you're painting along, see complete list of supplies in the description. And if you're here to just watch, then let me see if you agree with me on the brightness of the Quinacridone pigments. So for this painting, we're window with a planter. Let's take a look at the colors we used. And I'm a little less satisfied with this one, and maybe it is the paper. I'm using the Fabriano 140-pound cold press, and this is not one of the papers I generally go to, but I ran out of the Arches paper in this size, so just wanted to, use this one. And maybe it has reaffirmed me that the mixing on this one versus on the Arches is a little bit different, and Arches is a lot more exciting. Although Arches, I have my own problem with the cold press Arches. I love the hot press, but the cold press Arches just drinks a lot of water, and sometimes I gauge my estimate of the water in my brush is a little off, so I have my own challenges with it. But by and large, for these kind of paintings, I believe the cold press is the best, but I'm actually planning on doing it on the hot press, and I'm positive it will give me great results. So regardless, let's take a look. So the first color was the Quinacridone Gold, as you can see. And I wanted to use the Quinacridone colors today. And here's been my experience with Quinacridone colors, is they're just bright, and they would just, if you have colors, Quinacridone colors in a painting, you can look at the painting from 15-20 feet away and it'll just pull you, they just shine. So I wanted to use Quinacridone specifically on this one. So other than the paper, I think I'm happy, but I'm also not very happy with the second color and the first color mixing. This is the Quinacridone Scarlet, and the way the Scarlet mixed with Quinacridone Gold, that also left me a little bit dissatisfied. So with this kind of mixing and this kind of mixing, I switched, used a speck of Crimson Lake here with Quinacridone Gold, and I was a lot more satisfied with this kind of mixing, but by then it was just too late. So had I tried Crimson Lake and Quinacridone Gold before, I would have definitely switched. So I would say, go ahead and switch Crimson Lake, go ahead and switch this Quinacridone Scarlet with Crimson Lake, and you might just have better results. So Quinacridone Scarlet was my next color. Going after the greens, the next one, no surprise here, it's the leaf green, my wonderful bright green that would pair really well with the Quinacridones because it just matches in intensity, So here's leaf green, and here's Quinacridone Gold, and here's Quinacridone Scarlet. The next green was the shadow green. Again, the usual suspect. This is one of my go-to colors, and I'm never unhappy with it. So go ahead and use this one if you're planning this painting. Shadow green. The next one was the Phthalo Blue red shade. So I switched the Glacier Blue with Phthalo Blue red shade because I was using the Quinacridones and I wanted equally bright blue. Now you can argue, had the blue gone in the background, the painting, the flowers would shine more, and that's a good argument. I could have done that, but this was just a choice. I wanted the painting to be generally bright. So I switched the Glacier Blue with Phthalo Blue red shade. And the window here was a mixture of Phthalo Blue red shade and the shadow green. A tad bit of sepia, but sepia was mostly in the shadows. And of course, that's our last color, sepia. So far, it's doing excellent in these paintings. I haven't found another color that I could substitute with it. I think I might go with raw umber or the umber and try. That would give me a little bit of a reddish tone. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but in certain cases that might be a good idea. So other than that, I used some pen. So I used the Copic marker 0.2, 0.1 to just give some texture to the window. And I used some white gouache to bring out some of the white highlights that I had missed. There were no highlights here other than that. So that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope you will give this a shot.